Earlier in the year, I made a video about how I started a long illustration project with the intention to break away from just copying references or doing exercises. Instead, I wanted to practice a workflow, to develop a style, and to simply prove that I could direct my drawing towards something. I took Naoki Saito's A to Z method, in which you pick an artist's work to emulate and make 26 different illustrations, one for each letter of the alphabet. The challenge goes pretty quick, and you only get 3 days to do each piece, practically doing multiple a week to finish in 3 months. The whole idea is that you solve problems as they come, while just drilling the workflow. You need to have a subject and workflow that you can stay interested in for the 26 pieces, and I ended up doing keyframes of slightly stylized characters with cell shading and some gradients. All the time lapses are on the channel. That was supposed to happen over 3 months, but now, 7 months later, I've only just gotten halfway through. 13 pieces out of the 26. I didn't realize how quickly you can run out of steam past a couple of days or a few works. Keeping that pace is probably more for someone that has more illustration practice. I've got a lot less consistent time illustrating. It's been one-off bursts of painting mostly. I've been settling to do 1 or 2 hours of work when I can, instead of sticking to the strict weekly schedule of the challenge. The ironic thing is that I was ahead for a little bit there, but couldn't keep ahead of the pace. For most of my life I would drop projects, but this one is going to be one that I stick with. I have this mentality that if I'm off pace, then what's the point of stressing about it? It's like breaking perfection. If it's not perfect, it's ruined, so don't try so hard. Now that I'm off schedule, I get a pass to take as long as I need. I'm realizing that fixing the time economics of getting this done is really critical. I'm doing this on hard mode by picking something I can't finish in a day with the stamina I currently have. It's too easy to miss a day, it's also too easy to say that 1 hour is enough when I could be doing more. I didn't know it at the time, but I'm treating it like an animation that takes multiple days when I should be telling myself that I need multiple steps done in a day. Coincidentally, I was reminded about doing 3 to 4 hour speed paintings, which may have been a better way to do this A to Z project. I got the sense that if I were to finish a piece a day, the feedback loop and flow state might be better built up. Right now I feel like a technician clocking into work for the regular spruce up on a section, but not being expressive. I think I can generally do a session of sketching and underdrawing, 2 sessions to do clean line art, less than a session to color, and then a session for layering shadows and highlights as well as effects. I think it's worth it to try out some speed painting illustrations when this is all over. Longer than an hour, but not more than 4. It's been said that even professional illustrators might only get 4 hours of top performance in a day, so if I can go that long, I'd be happy. My main hang-up is composition. 16:9 composition is asking for me to have to come up with more stuff, spaced out in unique ways. If I'm staying in the filmic storytelling aspect ratio, that means more work than someone cropping for a single figure. I have a loose thumbnail for every composition, but that has changed a lot when plan meets reality. I have a tendency to completely fill the thumbnail with a character, but then, when seeing things on screen, I feel like I need to give more negative space, and thus more background around the figures. I think I need to break from this 16:9 after the series. Backgrounds are a massive chunk of the work. I feel like every background could always be helped by having more line work, even though the best illustrators are all trying to avoid that. Way more implied lines is required to have forms recede properly into the background. The constant practice of natural and efficient arrangements of detail is truly something I need to work at. Perhaps some in-depth studies of other illustrators' backgrounds would help. Having more than 2 figures can extend the time it takes, but also, my first pass at a character will psych me out. I don't have every character designed perfectly. A lot of the time, there's an uncanny feeling since I haven't nailed down the stylized proportions of a character yet. Most of the time, it's naturalistic and then later creeps towards how stylized it needs to be. Maybe in the future I can just commit to doing some character sheets and finding the appeal outside of the keyframing process. Those were the challenges and potential things to work on, but here's some of the learnings I've had while working. I learned to use a plugin that Krita has to autofill the internal shapes from line work. It leaves a patchwork layer of differently shaded areas that flood fill can work with to let you simply place the colors you need. It's also something that can be reused with color layers to generate some color variation with a low opacity. Noise is very useful. I think it was around the 4th piece that I decided to try adding noise, and it's good enough effect that I went back to apply it to the first 3 pieces. Most of the time it's just good to break up the pure colors of a background element. On that 4th piece there was a lot of pure white, and it was helpful to break things up. I used way fewer highlighted elements than I thought I would. Even when there's giant machines in frame, it hasn't felt appropriate to put highlights on everything. Most backgrounds are diffuse and set in nature. Characters are draped in rough cloth. Only a few things ping out a highlight, and it's usually metal on characters. I think I'm pretty bad at color picking, and yet it's felt like I'm settling into a sort of natural palette anyway. I will sometimes go and use Adobe Color to grab a palette, but more often than not, I'm just eyeballing starting background shades that I know will work with the characters. This may not be vibrant enough, but I was mostly concerned with color cohesion more than anything. I also became aware of how I think of light as sources emitting a temperature. Maybe it's because of the way I've internalized a lot of 3D lighting knowledge. I'm just always thinking of intensity, distance from the light source, warm spill light, and cool shadows. This has just been a stable way of thinking about it, and maybe right now that's all I need. I think in the batch I've only got one piece that would be considered unnatural lighting. Going forward, I've got less than half the pieces left, and I'm hoping not to take the same amount of time, i.e. until the end of the year. To help with this, I've been trying to have more stages done at a time. Like I need to push through to coloring after finishing line work instead of taking it as a natural breakpoint. I still completely stand by the thesis I set out with. If I was only doing exercises these last few months, I'm sure I wouldn't be that much better off. I would be slightly more skilled at anatomy or structure, yet wouldn't really be doing the most efficient thing, if my goal was to get better at visual storytelling. Having a stack of these illustrations has been great. Getting into the habit of sharing things I'm working on has taught me a lot. Even though I don't get a lot of attention on these pieces on social media, it's worth it for me to post them. I'd like to get everything together and get some feedback on the series from the artists I admire. After that, it's exercises or the studies I've previously mentioned, along with addressing the feedback I get, maybe do an essay here or there on what's kind of inspired me, and about the subjects in these pieces.